Hey, my friends. Welcome to Mountain Woman Radio. This is episode number 242, and I am your host, Tammy Treyer. My family and I live 100% off-grid in North Idaho, and we enjoy sharing our life and our lifestyle, as well as just inspiring others to take their life and their health into their own hands. So, today's topic is, and I would love for you guys to hone in on this and share either on the YouTube in the comments or on the website on the show notes. You can leave comments below that, and you can find the show notes by going to treyerwilderness.com/podcast-242. Okay, so if you were given the opportunity to choose between a bunker full of 3 years worth of food or skills, what would you choose? Inquiring minds want to know. Right? Let's decide, because I think that decision is very important, and I think that not everybody thinks of all the options and the reasoning behind the options and the choices you have. So let's break this down, okay? Sure, it sounds really sweet to have a bunker and to have 3 years worth of preps available to you that you wouldn't have to do anything. You know, sit back, relax, not be stressed. You've got 3 years worth of things, right? And that is, that's huge. Being in those situations, in a survival situation, can be really stressful. As an integrative health practitioner, I can also tell you that being in a stressful situation for a very long period of time will affect your health if you don't know how to handle it. It will decline your health very quickly, put you in fight and flight, keep you in fight and flight, and cause your body to slowly diminish. So stress is huge. Being in a bunker with 3 years worth of food would certainly be stress-free, right? But what happens when those things are no longer? You've got a bunker, you're held up, but you have no food, you have no water, you have no medical supplies, or very little. You might have ammo, you might have weapons, okay? But what are you gonna do? I mean, at that point, if you don't have skills, but you do have weapons, are you gonna go steal? Are you gonna go kill people for what they have? Scared people do that. This is a deep conversation, lots to think about. And I'm sure many of you have thought about these different scenarios. If you've been following us for a long time, we've been trying to feed things into you guys and inspire you guys to think for yourselves. So I'm sure many of you have been thinking about all these different scenarios. So you end up in a survival situation. You don't have a bunker. You don't have 3 years worth of preps. But you've got skills. You know how to build yourself a shelter. You know how to harvest and preserve and hunt, trap food. You know how to forage from your surroundings. You know how to grow food. You know how to preserve it. You know how to raise animals. You know how to exist very minimally. We exist very minimally. We don't need much. And you know how to clean your water and catch water. You know how to cut trees, fell trees, chop trees, get firewood. You know it needs to stay dry, so you build another shelter to cover it. can use your hides off your animals for clothing, shoes. We do that already. Having these skills will enable you to keep going. Having the tools for these skills will enable you to keep going. Knowing how to create the tools you need to keep going will keep you going. Staying fit as you're learning these skills. I mean, the skills that we do here on our homestead keep us very fit. We don't need a gym. We stay active. We're outside a lot. I wish I was outside even more than I am. We know our surroundings. We know how to do all the things that I've just described. I know how to knit. I know how to crochet. It might be an old lady skill. Many view that as an old lady skill. But I can make clothing. I can make hats. I can make gloves. I can make all kinds of things. I enjoy stitching and creating leather craft. I make shoes, moccasins, sandals, bags, clothes. The mountain man is incredibly gifted and skilled. He's a blacksmith. He knows how to weld. It's not that he knows how to weld, that's what he does. He's a welder. He's got one of those amazing mechanical minds that can see what needs to be done mechanically in his head and create it. He's built 4 homes, cabins from his head, not blueprints. It's very impressive. He's an asset. I'm very blessed. Learning these skills enables you, although it may be work, which is a lot of the reason oftentimes why people will choose a full bunker over skills, is because heading towards skills means there's a lot of work. There is. It is a lot of work to do oftentimes the skills that we do. However, it's also very gratifying. It's also very nurturing to our bodies, our minds, our spirits, for real. Like when you're chopping firewood and you're just out there and it's quiet and you're just doing this repetitive motion, you're working up a good sweat, you're moving your body, you're stretching your body, you're strengthening your body. You come in, you eat dinner, you were out in the weather, whether it's good weather, cold weather, hot weather, whatever, you were out in the elements. You come in, you eat dinner, you sit down for a few minutes after dinner, you're ready for bed, and you sleep well, you sleep good. And sometimes you have aches and pains if you're moving muscles you haven't moved in a while, but a lot of times you feel good. Most of the time, I feel great. I love chopping firewood. I love those physical tasks because it makes you feel alive. And I also want to be strong enough to be able to do the things I need to do. I want to be fit enough to be able to stay on my feet if I need to stay on my feet for a long period of time. I want to be able to do those things. That is a positive challenge for me. It always has been. When you have these skills, regardless if it's a lot of work or not, it enables you to keep moving forward. It enables you to do the things you have to do to survive. I know many of you are learning all kinds of skills as you're going through life, learning how to make sourdough. That's a huge task because you got to feed your family. And sourdough is something that can be transported. They used to transport sourdough in their leather satchels. Learning how to do all these things, bake bread, if you're the homemaker, learning how to, sew clothing, repair clothing. All of those skills are really important. There is a tremendous difference between men and women in a lot of ways, and they are all equally yoked. We are each given gifts. We are given gifts, and also biblically, we are assigned tasks. Women are supposed to be the homemakers, but as a Proverbs 31 woman, you can also be the businesswoman and also accomplishing the tasks. So men are built differently than women. They have more strength and endurance. It's just a fact. So men are the protectors. Men are doing the hard, laborious work. That doesn't mean a woman can't do it. But when we learn the skills and we work together and we mold like this, instead of going against the desires of the Bible, we can accomplish even so much more. I will be the first to say I struggle being cooped up in a home too long. I'm an outdoor girl. I enjoy doing the things guys like to do. That's what I grew up doing. I was climbing trees, fishing, hunting. I was always outside. And being trapped in the house is not something I enjoy doing for long periods of time. But I do enjoy feeding my family. I do enjoy cooking. I do enjoy keeping my home clean. Why am I sharing all these things? Because I think it's important that we understand that even though we each have delegated things that are kind of meant for us to do, it doesn't mean that a man can't cook. It doesn't mean that a woman can't be outside hammering some steel. I aspire to learn how to do that too. I think it's important that we mix things up. I think it's important that we do know these skills. And I do think it's important that, with the times we are in, that we are dividing and conquering, that women are learning some tasks, men are learning others. And let's mold together, guys. Let's bring it together so that we can keep the home fires burning and keep everybody warm and surviving and doing well and thriving. So I believe you can see where I lean. I don't like being cooped up, for starters. And I certainly don't like eating gnarly food. Granted, we may have to, but I like eating fresh food, fresh foraged food if necessary, fresh hunted food. I don't want to be eating MREs, and I don't want to be eating things like that. I don't know that my body could even tolerate those things. So it's just a difference in perspective maybe. But if you don't have skills and you're in a bunker and it runs out, you don't have a lot of options on the other side. So my thoughts to you are to be certain that you're learning skills and that you are equipping yourself with the tools you need. We have a lot of the modern day tools here. We use a chainsaw. We have a four-wheeler. We have a winch. But if gasoline wasn't accessible, we also have the two-man saw, the axe. We have a come-along. We have a block and tackle. We have all the things we would need to be able to switch gears from modern day to stepping back in time a little bit and being able to continue to keep going on. And that is what we need to consider and think about, because there's going to be a lot of people that think they are stocked up well, only to come to find that they really don't have enough. And we can only do what we can do, right? We've been in that situation where we couldn't afford to do anything. We were left to use our skills and use what was in our larder. So we're familiar with that scenario. And we didn't go without a meal. We actually were able to bless another family at the same time. Having the skills is important, guys. And I know this is a weighty conversation. I would love for you to chime in. And if you had both, what an asset. What an awesome setup, right? Because you'd be fortified and you'd be well kept, and then you depend on your skills on the other side. So, I mean, that's the ultimate scenario, right? And that's the ultimate scenario that we're all looking to be in, I hope, is that you are currently and still doing what you can, the best you can for yourself at the current time, and learning what you can. We do have our membership, and we offer courses on all that we do here at all levels, from sourdough making to foraging to blacksmithing to trapping and hunting, raising animals, you name it. And you can find that by going to TRAYerWilderness.com/membership. Our doors are open. They're always open, so that people can come and go as they need and learn these skills. Now more than ever, we need these skills. We were always so worried initially that these skills would be lost, and some of them may have already and may likely be lost. But I think we're also heading into a time where these skills are going to be essential. And I know many of you have been feeling that and know that. But for those of you that don't, and that just happen to come across this video, I hope that you are encouraged by this, because honestly, this isn't a fear-mongering video. If you watch any of the rest of our stuff, that's not what we're about. It's chasing God, being faithful, walking with integrity, being honest, and knowing what we need to do. Knowledge is not power unless you're putting it to work. So remember that. So this was episode number 242 of Mountain Woman Radio. And again, you can find it by going to TRAYerWilderness.com/podcast-242. Weigh in underneath the video in the comments, or go to the show notes and comment on the show notes page. Look forward to visiting with you guys on the next video. Take care and God bless.